Ready?
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Lived and Told. Today I got my good buddy Glenn on the podcast today.
Thanks for
Now
having
Glenn
me.
is a mortgage broker and recently started his own business this year, Swish Mortgages. Do you want to give a quick introduction there, Glenn?
Yeah, so I guess Swish Mortgages. I think we've been fully operating since start of November this year. Um, and then, just seeing where it takes us, to be honest.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, what is mortgage broking?
Mortgage broking. So I guess we're kind of the intermediary between the lender and the client who's looking to purchase a home, refinance, or anything in between.
Yeah. I think Glenn, on my previous episodes, I did rapid fire questions at the end. However, maybe we'll give the audience a chance to get to know you better. So I'll hit you with some now.
How are we going straight up?
And then for those who don't know, Glenn is a massive basketball fan. So who's your team? And LeBron or MJ?
Oh, damn. My team, Phoenix Suns. Don't ask why. Nah. I guess backtracking, when I was playing like NBA Live on PlayStation, like Nash and Stoudemire was like the best duo. So carried that over to real life and still riding them out through thick and thin.
Loyal.
Don't want to be a bandwagon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in terms of LeBron and MJ, I might catch some flack off this, but I'm gonna have to say LeBron, like statistically proven, he just holds every record in the game right now, so you can't argue that.
Controversial. You're wearing a Chicago shirt
as well. I brought the wrong one. I just had to rock the black because it was.
But we can blur that out. We can blur that out. If you're on death row, what would your final meal be?
Sticking to my roots, it'll have to be Jollibee fried chicken.
Jollibee. I heard that they come into Sydney actually.
Yeah, Sydney. I think we got to move, bro.
I had it when I went to the Philippines maybe like 10 years ago, and that chicken, the gravy is really good. That stuck with me.
There's something in it. Yeah.
And then growing up, besides mortgage broking, what did you want to become?
Every hooper's dream. I felt like I was going to make it to the NBA, but the Filipino genetics didn't allow it, man. Stunted growth at like 5'6", at like 14, 15 years old. So that dream went out the window real quick.
So you started playing basketball when you were a lot younger and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I got into basketball, like organized basketball, when I was like 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay. So still playing now just for fun, but yeah. That's what I wanted to do. In denial up until like uni, and then I was like, all right, now I've got to actually do something with
the basketball dreams. The basketball dreams died.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Also, then so back to Swish Mortgages there. So you obviously branched out on your own. So previously, can you walk us through maybe your career, how you got to Swish Mortgages in the first place?
Yeah, I guess backtracking all the way till uni days again. As previously mentioned, didn't know what I wanted to do after the basketball dreams were shut down. So just went into uni. First tried out engineering.
Civil engineering or?
So I didn't make it past the first year when you choose your specialization. So I just did the first year.
So engineering is like a generic kind of thing, and then you kind of just branch off into like your specialty.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's how they did back then. You do the first year. Everything's kind of generic in terms of the criteria, and then from there you go branch off and do civil, mechanical, electronic, or whatever it is. Didn't make it that far, so after the first year transferred into accounting. And that's kind of where like the finance industry kind of sparked in my mind. First job started off in banking, worked at one of the big four banks. Started off as a credit assessor, did that for about 2 years. Then went into, jumped around a couple roles in there, but always stayed in the lending side of things. So went into commercial asset finance, and that's kind of where I branched off. I think my final year in corporate, I was already thinking of doing of what I wanted to do next. And that's when I did the studies, did the Cert 4, which is the bare minimum requirement to get into mortgage broking. So I was doing that while I was working full time, and then made the jump May this year.
What inspired you to do that Cert 4? Like, was this always something that you knew, I guess, when you studied the economy maybe, or, you had friends or family that were in it? Like, what made you want to switch from, the corporate side, or corporate lending, I should say, and move into more, personal and doing your own business eventually?
I think me and my best mate, we had this conversation when we finished uni, and we're like, oh man, what is it we can do? we wanted to open up a basketball stadium. It was always going to be a business, but we didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're like, we'll just run a basketball stadium or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like pick up basketball almost, or like
yeah. But then we're like, can you make a living off that, or is it more purely just out of our enjoyment? So so then mortgage broking came into mind. He actually jumped out and joined a brokerage at that time when I went to the bank.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was always in the back of the mind. It was more just the matter of when. So this year, I guess I made the jump in May, and he ended up making the jump separate businesses, but he made the jump in about October, September. So
awesome. So recently,
so we both got there in the end.
Yeah. Is the plan? I don't know. This is jumping forward one step or two, but is the plan? You guys work together eventually, or is it you're happy doing your own thing at the moment, and he's happy doing his own?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's obviously still talks. Like, who wouldn't want to work with like one of their good mates? But for me, it's more so like I got something to prove myself. I was like, I want to start something myself and work it from the ground up. And I think he's kind of on the same boat there.
Yeah, that also. And what made you want to go out on your own, as opposed to working for a company?
Yeah, I think going back to the last year of when I was working in corporate. I don't want to say this. It wasn't bad, to be honest. I actually liked the team and the job that I was in. But the team was running pretty thin. Like a lot of people had left or in the transition to leaving, so the team was running pretty thin. Was just putting in a lot of hours, and I was like, man, if I'm working this much, I can put this amount of work into building my own thing. So that was kind of what kind of pushed me over the edge. But at the start of the year, I was still umming and ahhing, pretty daunting going out doing your own thing. So LinkedIn just reached out to a lot of brokers that kind of did something similar. Some that are new to industry brokers that didn't have a banking background like myself. And I was like, man, if these guys can do it, then why can't I? So
do you think it was a big advantage coming from like one of the large corporate companies in Australia?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the lending background as well is just one aspect of the mortgage broking business that you don't have to learn. Like, hats off to the people that do it, like new to industry. One of the guys I actually reached out to, who was kind of the deciding factor as to why I moved. He was a podiatrist. So completely different. And then he was a podiatrist, and then he went off and started his own brokerage, and he's killing it. Like,
awesome. Shouts to him.
Yeah.
And then when I look at your page, it's very heavily geared towards nurses. And is there a particular reason for that? I think maybe for context why I wonder that is, I think a lot of businesses, when they branch out, whatever pursuit or whatever endeavor they're in, they always kind of choose your niche. And I think that's, maybe going back to marketing, they kind of choose their niche, they go into that. Is that the reason for that? Or is there a further reason behind nurses being such a big target of your audience?
So, spot on. So I heavily focus on nurses and healthcare professionals, predominantly nurses. The reason behind picking a niche is the broking industry, before it used to be bank first brokers, but it's such a heavily saturated industry now. I think 70% of the market share use brokers. So it's like, so what's the differentiator from that? You can't be the one all do all type of broker these days. So I've actually invested in a broker coach. Shout out to Sam.
Shout out to Sam.
And one of the main things, he's like, pick a niche, but in relation to something that you hold close to yourself. So the reason why I picked nurses, my mum was a nurse for about 17 years. Sister was also a nurse up until 10 years. She had a career change, but before then it was always, because I was working at a bank, they'd always come to me and ask for advice. I wasn't in the home lending space at that time, but still kind of understood it.
Yeah, contacts within that organization.
Exactly. So it kind of made sense to kind of target that kind of clientele as well. Filipinos, man, majority of them. So it just made sense. So
would you say what percentage of your portfolio or clients, is that the right term? I don't know what the right term is, but what percentage of that cohort would actually be nurses, or would there be other people that come to see yourself? Was it all nurses or all medical?
Yes,
practitioners?
I'd say maybe like 70% are
Yeah.
nurses.
Okay.
And then you obviously have the friends and family
Yeah.
that come to me as well. And I'm not going to say no just because they're not a nurse.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
So
Of
definitely
course.
still open to that.
Yeah.
But I think choosing the niche and doing the same deal over and over again and specializing in it,
Yeah.
it's just the experience and just knowing which lenders to place them.
Yeah.
It just becomes a good customer experience on that side of things too.
Yeah, 100%. And did that make it easier for yourself starting out? Saying, I'm starting out on my own now. Nurses is who I'm targeting. Did that make it a lot easier in terms of, who I'm going to market to, what I need to research, what I need to keep up to date with? Did that make it easier for you, or has it almost become boring at this point now?
Yes and no, not in terms of the boring part, but in terms of what made it easier. I feel like jumping off into broking, friends and family, they'll be like, oh, like, are you just doing nurses? Does that mean I can't go to you to refinance or apply for a home loan?
Yeah.
And that's the time when I'll like explain, it's like, I focus on nurses, but I do assist like other people as well.
Yeah.
So I guess building that traction to begin with, a lot of the content is just targeted to nurses, but at least you're speaking to a specific person. But it just means the flow of leads will be a little bit slower to begin with because not everyone's a nurse.
Yeah, 100%. And this is the goal of the business, to eventually make more content or expand beyond nurses. I mean, maybe to rephrase that, is your content going to be more in 2026 going to be more targeted towards the general population, or is it still going to be heavily towards nurses? Because you do get those questions about, hey, can I come see you? And I think you might lose business, potentially because people aren't sure if you just do nurses or you do general population as well.
Yeah, I think the main focus will still be nurses, content wise and marketing wise.
Yeah.
But if you do get the odd, organic referral from a friend, I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. And I think you mentioned earlier, Glenn, obviously traditionally, people go to, one of the big four banks or, a second tier lender to get their mortgages. Mm-hmm. Why would I go to a broker? Why should I go to a broker?
Options. It's never one way, same way. And I think working at corporate, the hardest thing for me was saying no, not having a solution for them because it didn't fit that specific policy.
Yeah.
But with brokers, I work with, not saying you use them all, but you have options. You have over 40 lenders that you can choose from. If it doesn't fit with this lender, then you have the option to go with that other lender that does meet their criteria. So,
yeah. So if let's say I'm 12 years old, maybe too young to buy a house, but if I were a 12-year-old, how would I engage with a broker? How does it all work, on a very simplistic level?
What was that, sorry?
How does it work on a simplistic level? Like, do I just find a broker and say, hey, I want to buy a property, this is my budget, this is how much I make, go find me the best deal? How does it work?
Yeah, I feel like that's where the power of content is these days. And as mentioned, we were talking before, like I was never an Instagram or content person, but finding someone that speaks specifically to you, and your specific situation. So, and also I think, mortgage broking is very relationship based. So if you don't get along with your broker, then it's probably not going to be the best fit either. It's going to possibly be one of the biggest purchases in your life.
Yeah.
So you want someone that can be there to, can relate to your level, and give you, I guess, undivided attention for that purchase as well.
What's the biggest mistakes people make when either discussing with yourself or when they're about to make their first purchase? What's the biggest mistakes you've seen people make?
Biggest mistake, as of recent, like when I started out, I didn't notice how many people were credit impaired.
Yep. And for those who don't know what's credit impaired,
it's I think just based on the economy, all prices and everything have been pushed out. So a lot of people are actually going through it, which prior to going into this, I guess I was a little bit oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And I think that speaking to a broker is not just obtaining the loan, but we also act as financial coaches where we can kind of get you back on track to then purchase. So I feel like people only speak to a broker when they're ready to purchase, but I feel like it starts way before then.
Okay, okay, that's good to know. Yeah. That's good to know. And what's been the biggest myths about purchasing property that you kind of debunked or you still see floating around that shouldn't
Yeah.
exist?
Shouldn't exist.
Yeah, like a myth. Trying to think of one now. I think the biggest one is I need a 20% deposit.
Yeah. That's common. Yeah, I guess it will really only apply to first home buyers, but you can get in with a minimum 5% deposit, or as a single parent 2%. But then going back to my niche of nurses, because they're kind of looked at in good light, it's a secure job, decent paying income. You can purchase your first home or even investment property with minimum 10% deposit.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are some lenders that do that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on the purchasing property, what do you call it? If you were to have a team of the dream team, of people that as an individual you would have help you buy your first property or second or third property, if you're fortunate enough to, who would they be and why?
Like specific person or
Yep.
like
the occupation.
Occupation. Yeah, good team's important. Good mortgage broker.
Why?
Again, it's from the get-go, it's mapping out a plan. So I think if you're looking at purchasing multiple properties, strategy and structure from the front is most important.
Yep.
Because after your second or third property, you could get stuck in terms of borrowing capacity. So setting that up from the front, I think, you reverse engineer it. So speaking to a lot of clients, it's like, what's your ideal retirement plan, I guess you could say.
Yep.
If they say 5 properties, okay, cool. How do we get there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, if you are going to do the investment route, definitely financial advisor, accountant, conveyancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working back from each one of those, why would you pick those as part of the dream team?
I feel like they all kind of work cohesively. Like, obviously in terms of accountant, say like you're self-employed.
Yep.
The biggest thing is not the biggest thing, but everyone thinks of how to minimize tax. But if you're looking to purchase property and your balance sheet, profit and loss statement show that you have minimum profits, then you're not going to be able to borrow.
Yep.
Good in a tax perspective, but again, it's the game plan of setting that up for whenever you are looking to purchase that next property. So if it's 12 months from now, what does the P&L and balance sheet have to look like to the banks?
Yep.
So that's, I guess, accountant perspective, as well as all the tax depreciations you get in terms of investment properties.
Yep.
Financial advisor, similar aspect. It's like, is this best suitable for your current situation? Again, it's not one size fits all. So definitely getting advice, see if that strategy does fit your needs.
Yep.
And then conveyancer, if you're purchasing, you just require it. They're basically the intermediary of the flow of funds, of paying the vendor, the buyer to the vendor, or the bank to the vendor when you purchase property.
And the vendor is the seller.
In
this situation. Yeah.
Correct.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And do you have a network of those dream team individuals that you refer clients to as part of your business as well?
Yeah, and obviously still looking to grow that out. Sorry, backtracking to answer the previous question.
No.
In terms of investments, buyer's agents has been a big thing as well. So the buyer's agent kind of...
And what's a buyer's agent?
So the real estate agent works for the seller, trying to sell it for the maximum price, obviously, to get the return. And then the buyer's agent actually works for the buyer. So they'll do the complete opposite and try to negotiate and get the best price for you, as well as scouting the areas to see if this property is, say, like a growth area, which then you can utilize to purchase the next property after that. So
who are they again?
Oh yeah, sorry. So so teams that I work with at the moment, buyer's agent.
And you recommend for everyone to get as part of the purchasing process would be?
Yeah, so mortgage broker, obviously myself.
Yep.
Financial advisor, one of my best mates, he works at Blue Rock.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm not sure if you could probably cut that out.
No, that's fine. That's fine, bro.
Yeah, Nate, he's a qualified financial advisor.
Yep.
Accountant, Grace Accountants or Tax Smart Accountants, work with a couple there.
Yep.
Conveyancer, which was a conveyancer I used purchasing my first property.
Yep.
Who's helped a lot of my first home buyers as well. So Milestone Conveyancing in Point Cook. Accountant, financial advisor. Oh, and buyer's agent Gardenia, who I've recently connected with late
awesome.
last year.
Yep.
They're doing good things over there as well. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. When I look on the news, Glenn, there's always news about how much properties cost. I think the median price in Sydney is about 1.7. It's gone over 1 mil in Melbourne.
Yep.
How do I, as a fresh 18, 21-year-old, get into my first property?
I think the misconception between buying a property is a lot of people think the first property has to be the home run, but that isn't so much the case. I feel like you should buy where you can afford, and then let the property market kind of do its thing, build up the equity, and then you can then purchase that next property. And lifestyle changes as well, right? Like it's never going to be what I wanted at 18. It's going to be the same thing I wanted when I'm 30.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess rent vesting is a big thing these days. Buying interstate.
And what's rent vesting?
Rent vesting. So putting up your place of residence up for rent, and then you renting out to, I guess, a place where you desire to live. Now that could be lifestyle, could be close to family, whatever it may be, if it just suits you a little bit better. That's becoming really popular these days as well. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Definitely does. If you were to, I mean, not sure if it'd be good for your business, but if you were to approach housing prices and the cost of it all increasing, what would be something you would change to make it more affordable for people to get into their first homes or their first investments?
Yeah, I think two things. The first one would be the updated changes to the 5% deposit scheme, which was brought forward October 1st this year. Obviously, the changes were lifting income caps, so there's no income caps at all anymore. And then price caps of the property, which makes sense because the medians have changed, like you said. Everything's kind of increased. But I feel like it's a double-edged sword. I feel like it's suitable for those who are ready to purchase now. But in a year's time, because prices will keep increasing, it will probably push out those that aren't ready in like 12, 24 months time.
So it advantages people that have the capital there, but also the borrowing capacity as well.
Correct. I feel like the people that weren't eligible when they did have the price caps, but had the 5% deposit there, would benefit those guys the most. A double-edged sword. Good for those that are ready to buy, but possibly not for those that are.
And from your clients, Glenn, what's the bigger issue? I think when I look at property purchasing, there's two things. There's capital, so capital meaning the deposit required to obtain a loan, and then there's borrowing capacity, which is the ability to afford the loan based on calculations done by the lender of choice there. What's the big issue, and how do you fix that within your clients?
Mixture of both.
Okay.
I feel like some people have really good income, but not so much poor spending habits, but I guess we can say poor.
That's what you see at the moment. 100%.
Where it just kind of eats into the savings, and then vice versa, where people, really good savers, but it's just their income wouldn't be able to service the loan amount needing to get into that property. And I think that's I forgot to touch on it before, but I think that's where I think one thing that could kind of be more common, I guess you could say, or something that should be explored a little bit more is parents helping out. Like I feel like the best bank is mum and dad these days, or even just using their equity, just acting as guarantor. That way you're not just fixed on purchasing your first property to live in. They can act as guarantor to purchase an investment property if that's the route they want to take too.
And what does it mean for them to be a guarantor? Like, what's the consequences, or what's the advantages of them being a guarantor on a loan?
So I guess like again, not financial advice, seek a financial advisor.
Disclaimer.
Say, for example,
I'm borrowing a loan, just to say, for example.
So they're using the equity in their property to act as collateral to purchase I guess, your son or your daughter's
Yeah.
property rather than the government. The drawback from that would be, say, for example, worst case scenario, you lose your job tomorrow,
Yep.
unable to make the payments. That's when they come in and are liable to then make those repayments until you either find another job or
The worst case scenario is
worst case scenario, yeah, they're going to be liable to make the repayments of the loan. Yeah.
So to simplify that, let's say, example, Glenn's my dad. I'm purchasing my first property in wherever it is. Glenn, obviously we have a family home. Glenn would sign up to the loan as a guarantor.
Yep.
And the collateral or security would be the family home.
Yep.
And, I go about paying my monthly installments or fortnightly, whatever the structure is. And then, worst case scenario, if I were to default, Glenn would then be liable for those payments. And worst case scenario, the family home is up for grabs.
Correct. But in saying that, obviously you'd only do it if you're in good terms. Again, seek financial advice.
Yep.
You'd only do it if you're in good terms with your parents and things like that.
Yeah.
And then say like for banks, the safety loan to value ratio is 80%. If it falls within that or below that, then you can actually refinance and remove your parents as guarantor. So then the 100% liability falls back on you.
So in a few years, probably when the property value goes up and you've paid some dent into the mortgage, you can then take your parents off and you just be solely liable.
Correct.
Or you and your partner or whatever it looks like will be solely liable for the property.
Correct. And that's the ideal plan if you were to enter that type of agreement.
Okay, awesome. And then you mentioned it, I think 3 times now so far. Equity.
Yes.
How do I use equity to purchase second property? How does it work?
Yeah, so say for example...
Now, what is equity? For going back one step, what is equity?
Yeah, so I guess in simple mathematical terms, say you have this home worth $1 million. You took out a loan and it's only 500K.
Yep.
So the equity is the difference between the loan balance and the property value. So in this instance, 500,000.
Yep.
But you can only use, in most cases, again, on an everyday individual, up to 80% of that property value.
Yep.
Again, nurses, you can go up to 90%. So you can borrow up to 800K for 80% or 900K for 90% LVR.
In this scenario, we'll keep it at 80%.
Yeah, we'll keep it at 80. We'll keep it at 80.
Yep.
So it potentially, essentially what would happen is you'd keep the 500K loan for this property.
Yep.
And then 300K you can then use as a deposit to purchase the next property.
So do I have 2 loans?
You have a split loan. You'd want to keep it, potentially you'd want to keep it like that because for investment purposes, different interest rates, but then it's also tax deductible, whereas your owner occupied loan is not tax deductible. So you want to be able to differentiate between the two.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's layman's terms still a separate loan. Is that correct? It's called a split loan, but it's still separate, or is it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, okay. So I guess in your internet banking app, you'll have 2.
Yep.
Separate.
That's a very good visualization.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Then hypothetically, I take out a loan against my property for 80%. Let's just say I use the full 800,000. I still have my existing mortgage that I'm paying of 500. I can then use 300,000 of equity / a loan amount to then purchase another property.
Yeah, correct.
But I guess in that case, I wouldn't. Depends on the price of property, obviously, but I might not need that 300,000 in full.
Yeah.
What happens with that? Do I just pay it back into that split loan, or what would be your advice to your clients?
Well, I guess you only take out what you need. Obviously, you probably don't want to stretch your full borrowing capacity, anyways, because obviously the repayments will be a lot higher.
Yep.
So just take out what you need, but in terms of what you can borrow at a maximum, you can borrow all the way up to 800. But if you only need 200, then just take out 200.
I think going back one step, I can also see the issue there being your borrowing capacity. Like
correct.
You're already assessed on a $500,000 loan. You're now assessed on a 300,000, so 800 altogether.
Yep.
So then obviously borrowing capacity might be an issue there.
Yeah.
So how would you advise your clients to increase their borrowing capacity besides getting another job, obviously?
Yeah. Well, one, you factor in the rental income for the proposed rental property.
Yep.
So that would be included.
Yep.
Honestly, it's just increasing your income. So it's either get a promotion, get a side hustle or get a partner. Two incomes better than one.
All three maybe.
Yeah, or
needed.
all three, depending
Yeah.
on how far you want to take it.
Yeah, and I think within this day and age, a lot of people are working two jobs or have a side hustle. Is that what you've seen a lot in your clients as well? A lot more people are coming to you with not dual incomes, because I think that would be yourself also an individual and a partner. But for the individual, you're assessing them, like, do they generally, like, what's the percentage of people that would have a second income stream that you've seen?
Well, yeah, I guess I work with a lot of nurses, so it's pretty common for them to have a second job. Like,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, because they work part-time, so that's probably 64 hours a fortnight. And
Yeah.
then they can fit either a casual or another part-time job in between.
Yeah.
So
okay.
yeah, that's pretty common in terms of the niche that I work with. But outside of that, I don't know, maybe 20-25%, or are people who are willing to take on a second job just to purchase that house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there any other myths that I don't know about purchasing property, Glenn?
Maybe not myths, but another misconception is, people, again, I'm working with a lot of first home buyers at the moment. So they think 5% deposit is all you really need, but you also got to factor in stamp duties, legal fees and everything like that as well. So, you have your 5% deposit, but if it's the property or purchase price is over 600K, you also have to pay stamp duty on top of that, which is technically a tax, like a land tax that you just unfortunately can't avoid. Have to pay.
Yeah. That was my follow-up question. How do I avoid paying that?
I don't know if you can, bro. To avoid it, you're fully, if you're purchasing in Victoria as a first home buyer, you're fully exempt if you purchase 600K and below.
Yep.
And
so 600K is the purchase price, not the loan amount.
Yeah, sorry, purchase price of the property.
Yep.
Fully exempt under 600K.
Yep.
Or if you're purchasing up to 750, it's like a sliding scale, so it's stamp duty concession. So you get a discount on it.
Yeah.
But there are still some stamps.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. As we head into 2026, Glenn, what's your predictions? Putting your economist hat on, or what's the predictions? I guess on all fronts in terms of housing. Like, what do you think prices are gonna do? Interest rates as well. RBA. There's a lot of talk about a couple of potential increases in the first half of the year. What are your predictions going into 2026, and what would you advise your clients listening out there?
Yeah, I feel like interest rates obviously always a hot topic. This year we obviously experienced the 3 rate cuts in however many years.
Yep.
Which was looked like it was light at the end of the tunnel, but a lot of the lenders have actually increased their fixed interest rates in the past 1 to 2 months, which is, I reckon, is a true indication of where the interest rates are going. So at the start, Westpac was pretty optimistic, saying we'll still get another 1 or 2 next year, but they've kind of come back and said we might actually get an increase in Feb, the first one, the first RBA meeting next year. So that's kind of where it looks like it's heading. In terms of prices, median prices, I think the government scheme, the 5% scheme, has definitely worked in a way that people are overpaying a lot of in terms of properties. Like a few clients go into auction in December, November thinking that they can purchase this amount, but then they've come back and bidders have put in an extra 50, 100K.
Wow,
so
that much?
Yeah. So I think it's just the whole, auctions is fully driven by emotion.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of had an impact in terms of where the median prices are going.
Yeah. Okay. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there, Glenn, and obviously we'll talk about it, predictions for 2026. I think everyone in the market may or may not have their own opinion. For someone that, might not have access to, the dream team of, purchasing property, or are just interested in property market as a whole, how would they, stay up to date with the most relevant information without consuming all the, I guess, politely, all the junk in between? Like, how do you do it yourself personally? How do you stay up to date and, not absorb all the junk information? Yeah,
I feel like these days there's a lot of finfluencers, you can say.
Finfluencers,
it's a thing. So a lot of them I don't know if I fit into that category, but
No, you get your own business. So I think you're entitled to. You've got people loans and stuff. So I think you're entitled to an opinion.
yeah, I think it's like take everything with a grain of salt until you actually seek that proper advice.
Yeah.
I think podcasts is a really good one.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of broking podcasts that just keep up to date with the whole market industry and things like that.
Yep.
The Advisor is a really good one.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're specifically looking at brokerages or how the market's kind of trending.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I guess just news. Follow RBA, follow the Reserve Bank on on Instagram, or Quotality. That kind of shows where the prices have kind of been in the past month, or the changes and movements within the market. Yeah. I think just finding a reliable source.
Yeah. Okay. No. Awesome. And how do I know they're reliable? Do they just have like? You just kind of go back on their publications of work and like see if that's come true, or how do you know they're reliable?
I guess a lot of them that we kind of use ourselves, like Quotality is one that we use, or as a broker, that's where we kind of order our valuations and things like that.
Yep.
For properties, and they always give updates and things like that. RBA, they're obviously controlling how the money works around here, so they're obviously going to be a reliable source. And then I think just going back to Instagram, you got people. It's ideally it's marketing, so take that with a grain of salt, and then seek the proper advice if you're looking to purchase your property.
Yep, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, Glenn, I got a game for you to play. I've never done this before on the podcast before, but I got a game for you. So how it's going to work is I'm going to give you a suburb in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And you're going to give me a rating of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And 1 is do not invest or purchase, and 5 is purchase / I recommend to invest.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Werribee.
Werribee, I'd say 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
Moonee Ponds.
Moonee Ponds. Haven't had a lot of buyers there, so I'm just going to give it 2 or 3.
2 or 3, yeah. Brunswick.
Yeah, I'd say it's blue chip. So people that can afford there, I'd say, 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Footscray.
Certain pockets, I'd say 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would this pockets be?
I guess Footscray North. Yeah, I'd probably say like, Footscray North.
Yeah. Rockbank.
Nah, 1.
1?
Yeah.
All right.
Supply's too high.
Micklem.
I'll probably say 1 or 2 as well.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Box Hill.
Don't have too many people purchasing there, but I don't know, maybe 3. I'm going to give 3s for the ones that I'm not sure of.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Coburg.
Yeah, not too sure on that one as well. Maybe 3.
All right, last one. Sunshine.
5.
5?
Yeah, Sunshine North especially.
Done.
Yeah.
That's the place to be.
Yeah. Place to be.
Yeah, no, awesome. Now let's end with jump on the podcast.
I appreciate it.
Before I let you go, I think a closing tradition that I have with the show is this question.
Yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, advice or saying. I think it goes something along the lines of, to see results that you've never seen before, you have to do things that you've never done before. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And to wrap up, Glenn, where can people reach out to yourself to, inquire, or just have an initial chat with yourself, or if they're out there and they've got, the borrowing capacity, they've got capital ready to go to purchase their first home or, second or third property, where can they reach out to yourself?
Probably socials is probably the best one. I got all my Calendly links there as well. So I got the personal one is Glenn, so GLENN.TheBroker, or the business one is Swish Mortgages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to do maybe a part 2 of yourself, Glenn, maybe later on in 2026
Sounds
to
good.
see how the market's gone, if your predictions have come true, and maybe you can rate a few more suburbs.
Sounds good.
No,
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
No, thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for listening. Give us high ratings, give us a like, comment, share, subscribe, and see you in the next episode.
Peace.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it.